Hello everyone, I'm Kamesh from first year CSE in Census Institute of Technology. Today my topic is applications of statistics in census. Here in this topic we are going to see introduction, sampling, residence definitions, statistics in census, conclusions and references. In introduction, a census is a procedure of systematically calculating, acquiring, and recording information about the members of a given population. This term is used mostly in connections with national population and housing census. Other common census includes the census of agriculture and other census such as the traditional culture, business, supplies, and traffic censuses. The United Nations defines the essential features of populations and housing census as individual enumeration, universality within a defined territory, simultaneously, and defined periodicity, and recommends that population census be taken at least every 10 years. United Nations recommendations also cover census topics to be collected, officials' definitions, classifications, and other useful information to coordinate international practices. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations FAO in turn defines the census of agriculture as a statistical operations for collecting, processing and disseminating data on the structure of agriculture covering the whole or a significant part of a country. In a census of agriculture, data are collected at the holding level. The word is a Latin origin. During the Roman Republic, the census was a list that kept track of all adult males fit for military services. The modern census is essential to international comparison of any kind of statistics, and census collect data of many attributes of a population, not just how many people they are. The census typically began as the only method of collecting national demographic data and are not now part of larger system of different surveys. Although population estimates remain an important function of a census, including exactly the geographic distributions of a population or the agricultural population. Statistics can be produced about combinations of attributes. Example, education by age and sex is different region. Current administrative data system allows for other approaches to enumeration with the same level of detail but raise concerns about privacy and possibility of biasing estimates. A census can be contrasted with sampling and interstitial estimates and marketing as well as opinion polling and stratification requires which can be derived from census enumeration. Here we came to sampling. A census is often constructed as the opposite of a sample as its intent is to count everyone in a population rather than a fraction. However, population census do rely on a sampling frame to count the population. This is the only way to be sure that everyone has been included, as otherwise those who not be missed. The fundamental premise of a census is that the population is not known and the new estimate is to be made by the analysis of a primary data. Depending on the mode of enumerations, a form is sent to the householder, and enumerator calls or administrative records for the dwelling are accessed as a preliminary to the dispatch of forms. Census workers will check any address problems on the ground. Down in the picture, we can see in the whole amount of in the whole taken census, if we pick out some few peoples, that is called a sample. In right side of the image, you can see that population. In that, we are taking two groups as samples 1 and sample set 1 and sample set 2. And here are the pros and consequences of census. Pros and consequences of census and sample. Pros of census provides the true measures of the population, no sampling error. Benchmarks data may be obtained for future studies. Detailed information about small subgroups within the population is more likely to be available. Pros of sample. Costs would generally be lower than for a census. Results may be available in less time. If good sampling techniques are used, the results can be very representative of the actual population. Consequences of census may be difficult to enumerate all units of the population within the available time. Higher costs both in staff and monetary terms than for a sample. Consequences of a sample. Data may not be representative of a total population, particularly where the sample size is small. Residence definition. Here we'll see the main points. This is important is considering individuals who have multiple or temporary addresses. Every person should be identified uniquely as resident in one place, but the place where they happen to be on census day. Their de facto residence may not be the best place to count them. Where an individual uses services may be more useful and this is at their usual residence. An individual may be recorded at a permanent address, which might be family home for students or long-term migrants. This is the Tehran census in 1869, taken in 1869. Statistics in census. These are the applications of statistics in census. They use the parameters for a population as opposed to statistics, and census is the opposite of sampling. A census includes every member of the population in the result, and the confidence intervals are usually associated with the sampling. For example, a national poll might give results as having a 98% confidence interval. And we here see the duplications. The third basic concerns with the sampling frame is duplications and weighting. When one initially think of census, one think of tailing up member from a complete enumeration. And we also see a modeling. Modeling can be effective within a census process by improving estimates of small geographic areas and rare subpopulations. And we also it comes applications of disseminations also comes under the statistics in census. And the conclusion part, conducting a census involves a number of highly complex statistical process. Post collections processing should allow both micro and macro analysis. Census processing will probably involving weighting and some type of modeling. The dissemination process should prevent disclosure and of respondent data while providing useful access by data users. Thank you for everyone listening my speech and class. Thank you for the listening to my video. Thank you everyone.